Welcome back, guys. This is going to be the final match of the evening for the TESPA Collegiate Series. It's going to be Iowa State facing off against Cincinnati.
We've had some crazy matches so far tonight. The match between Waterloo and Toronto had us both like gasping for air. That control point came down to the final few seconds of every single round. A pleasure to watch, but of course, it's not over yet.
And yeah, so right now Iowa and Cincinnati both, fighting for that title of King of the North here. We are in the northern region right now. They're both at 4-0. They want to go ahead and join Toronto with that 5-0 win record.
All right, well, let's just get right into it. Let's see who's bringing the heat to Iowa's team. Oh, man, I'm falling over myself. Iowa State bringing Amari, Shokinger, Deviator, Barcode, or Ill. We've been calling him so many different things. Wind and Double KO. Industrial Technology, Computer Engineering, Biology, Vocal Music Education, right on, Biochemistry, and Computer Engineering to round it out.
Yeah, and their opponents for the evening are going to be University of Cincinnati. It's going to be Rukata, GGG, Undead Donut, Saber, Meowmere, and Biggie Nose. Information Technology, Computer Engineering, Cybersecurity, Networking, Fine Art, and of course another networking major.
Look at all the Cowboys from Cincinnati.
Yeah, remember these are not the desired roles. These are their most played heroes on the competitive ladder there, coming out for University of Cincinnati. So remember, it's not 0 hero limit anymore. It's 1 hero limit. Only 1 McCree at a time, please.
Yeah, which is so much easier to cast.
So much
and
easier.
a lot more fun to play. Thank you, Blizzard, for implementing the hero limit.
When the 4 Deadeyes used to come out back before 0 hero limit, that was ridiculous. And that was before you got the refund, right?
Oh, that's true.
Yeah. So you'd get the refund, someone would pop it, and then they would cancel it, pop another one. It was absolute mayhem, and it was consistently noon all the time.
Yeah, but with these new hero limits in place, I mean, they came into play like months and months ago, but we've seen such a diverse array of strategies being exhibited by these collegiate teams in the TESPA Collegiate Series. Some people pulling out very standard compositions like the 2 tank, 2 DPS, 2 support, and then sometimes we see crazy things like, the Symmetric coming out, the Junkrat coming out, the Eichenwald pick coming out, so definitely variety is something that can be found here on the TCS broadcast.
Yeah, Rip Mundata, rest in peace. He was a hero of our age, of their age. It's going to be University of Cincinnati starting off on the defensive side, and it looks like they're going for that triple tank composition. Rukata on the Reinhardt, Undead Donut bringing out the Roadhog, and GGG will fill that out with Zarya there. On the side of Iowa State, though, they will be on the offensive here. Remember, Kings Row was the first map for every match this week in the TESPA Collegiate Series.
We've seen Hanzo come out occasionally on this first side of Kings Row. Deviator likely just going to look for an initial pick if they're unable to find one. Probably just going to drop back down, switch over to possibly another tank or another DPS hero, as Shokinger, very unlikely that he's going to stay on that Bastion. It's just as we say that. Switches over to the Reinhardt.
Stick together.
See if Deviator sticks to this Widowmaker for a decent amount of time. But most likely just going to take one shot, drop down, switch over to, it's probably going to be a DPS hero.
Yeah, so nearly mirrored compositions coming out, and Iowa State instead going to go ahead and shake things up, bringing out that Hanzo. So a double pick composition coming out from Iowa State. They can either get the hook or land an amazing arrow. Currently Undead Donut playing up very close, tries to get the hook, unfortunately will not be able to find it. Deviator is able to get a lot of information with that sonic arrow. Now they have jumped down. Are they going to go for the high ground or just play around the statue?
So they're going to play around the statue. Amari, on behalf of Iowa State, just going to be looking for a hook on that Roadhog. So very crucial to opening up a window into this team fight. Looks like Iowa State just barreling their way through, now contesting the point itself. Here comes the Biotic Grenade. It's a 1-for-1 so far. Headshots coming down into GGG. That's Zarya getting chunked down pretty low, and the hook should finish it off. Amari finding 2 in the fight. Deviator finding Biggie Nose, and Double KO finding a KO of his own. And just like that, it looks like Iowa State, pretty decisive team fight win there. A point halfway taken, and I don't think Cincinnati can get back in time. Oh, the scatter shot.
Yeah, there were a lot of CCs coming out on the side of Iowa State when that engagement happened, right? The hook came in, they were able to bring in Rukata, so the shield was down. That allowed Wins actually to land a nice sleep dart onto one of the members of University of Cincinnati. And then from there, they were just able to easily clean up on that team fight. So now we are entering into the payload portion, the street portion of Kings Row here.
Looks like Cincinnati actually going to take a very safe approach to this, hiding around the corner, not wanting to take the fight in this main street. Double KO though, sitting on that Graviton Surge at 0 energy, so not really able to roast through this front line over here quite as quickly, but here it comes. Graviton Surge onto the back line, the team is split up, the Dragon Strike comes through as well, and Deviator manages to find himself a triple kill, looking for more, a quadruple kill for Deviator. Double KO now on your screen, just roasting through Undead Donut. Who says Krispy Kreme is only for diets? This Undead Donut is going off. Deviator finding another one alongside Double KO, and looks like Iowa State still pushing forward.
Yeah, and that was off the back of the first team fight. Honestly, Iowa State were able to bank a lot of ultimates there. They got that Graviton Surge, they had the Dragon Strike. They were able to actually catch out 2 of the squishies, 2 of the support members in the back line with that. And so easy follow-up, and that team fight just, you know, went largely in favor of Iowa State. Take a look at that. They have 4 ultimates online for them.
Dragon Strike again.
Yeah, another Dragon Strike coming out. We've got the Nano boosted Roadhog pushing forward. The charge does come in to try and keep him down for now, but Amari will clean that up easily as even Barcodes answers in kind, taking out Undead Donut. Meowmere is the only one that answers back for University of Cincinnati, but that's not going to be enough. Showkinger was the only one going down on the side of Iowa.
And so much of the difficulty when you're the attacking team facing off against a defending team in the Foundry is just getting them to come out to you or finding a way to them so that you can actually push the payload up. Iowa State had no problem with that fight whatsoever because Cincinnati, Ricotta just dove right in. Undead Donut went in to try and look for an assassination, and they just kind of trickled in one at a time, enabling them to get this checkpoint without a whole lot of trouble.
Yeah, but this time, though, Cincinnati have the ultimate advantage. They've got 4 online right now. Ricotta is getting closer to his Earthshatter, so this fight definitely favoring Cincinnati.
They're going for an Undead Donut with the Nano Boost, gonna go in with the spin to win, but not able to find anybody, gets put to sleep, and Meowmere manages to pick up the kills in the kill feed. All 6 members of Iowa State dropping just like that. Cincinnati finding some new life.
But Cincinnati committed so many ultimates for that. All of their ultimates, in fact, they used the Deadeye, they used the Death Blossom, and the Graviton Surge along with
the Earthshatter on top of it.
Yeah, so a lot was committed for that. Double KO is still sitting on his Graviton Surge. Showkinger almost has his Earthshatter and wins. Is so close to that Nano Boost that this teamfight does not look good for Cincinnati.
And this is going to be scary considering that Deviator about to get another Dragon Strike, and when he can combine it with the Graviton Surge, we've seen the damage come through. Double KO, slowly sneaking ahead. Here comes the Graviton, here comes the Dragon Strike. How many are they going to get? There's 1, there's 2, there's 3, there's 4, there's 5 members dropping. Iowa State picking up so many, and it's just Undead Donut running the hell away from this Iowa State roster. Just gonna jump off the map, get behind the respawn cycle, and with 3 minutes and 50 seconds left on the clock, Iowa State chain yet another sick wombo combo.
Yeah, they've maintained their ultimate advantage here. They've got the Nano Boost which they have put on to that Reinhardt. Earthshatter did come out from him, and now they're easily cleaning up. Undead Donut was able to get 1 kill onto Amari, but is that going to be enough? Deviator getting off so many free shots here, sends Amari actually on to the skies. Showkinger clears GGG, and it's going to be Barco to actually come in. Meowmere tries to stall with that Tracer, but it's not going to be enough. And Iowa State finished out Kings Row with 3 minutes and 23 seconds left.
And we were talking about how Toronto did such a great job because they had 3 minutes and a little bit of change left over. Like, man, this team's doing awesome. Having a finish on Kings Row with that much time remaining is something that's absolutely stellar. But then Iowa State comes in, finishes with 3 minutes and 23 seconds in the time bank. Cincinnati kind of scratching their head saying, yo, I don't know how they barreled through our defenses that hard. Hanzo apparently super hard to play with. Deviator went absolutely huge. The combination with Double KO's Graviton Surges were perfect, and Iowa State, if they continue playing like this, Cincinnati have their work cut out for them.
Yeah, Cincinnati, they only won 1 team fight there on the defensive, and they had to commit 5 ultimates for that. That is not a good sign. I feel like they could have held back a little bit more to try and, you know, win that team fight, but at this point, I guess you just have to throw all your cards out there. But Iowa State, once they were able to get that ultimate advantage, 2 team fights easy for them. No problem whatsoever. Now it's going to be Iowa State on the defensive, and it looks like very standard composition coming out. They're not going for the triple tank setup this time. Deviator going to be on the Genji with Amari picking up the Reaper.
A pretty standard and safe 2-2-2 combination. A lot of up close burst damage, and Deviator can kind of push away Cincinnati with the constant shurikens coming out. We saw Waterloo kind of fail. Oh no, it was one of the other schools tonight when they tried to play too much of a turtle comp. They drafted a team composition with not a whole lot of range, but as we can see, Iowa State really filling in those holes, making sure they have a balanced team composition. And it looks like Saber on Cincinnati's side, taking a page out of Deviator's playbook, starting off with that Hanzo. Deviator stayed on that Hanzo throughout the entirety of the match, so we'll see if Saber commits to that level.
Yeah, Meowmere also on that Widowmaker, trying to get some information for his team. Probably up there in the high ground, trying to scout out anything that he can. No, actually,
gonna commit to
exits from the right, and yeah, we're gonna have the double sniper composition coming out from Cincinnati here.
If they're able to find a pick, they can just start to go right in and look for the fight, but it's gonna be tricky to burst through both the Reinhardt shield and the Zarya, especially if they're able to back up, recharge the shield, and it's gonna retake this point. Widowmaker not the most. Oh, just as I say that, Deviator gets picked. This could be big.
And that was through the tree line too, so now it's a 6v5 advantage in favor of Cincinnati. But as I say that, Amari finds the kill onto Saber, but Meowmere landing these headshots, takes out Amari. GGG finds the kill onto that Lucio, and now things wildly in favor of Cincinnati. They're gonna take it actually quicker than Iowa State did.
And Iowa State took this first point pretty damn fast to begin with, and we see the power of something like a Widowmaker coming out on offense. If we're able to find that one pick, the fight opens up so much more cleanly for you. Cincinnati, 5.5 minutes in the bank to push this the rest of the way. And they're going to get even more time if they manage to get to the second checkpoint, so plenty of time on Kings Row for this team.
Yeah, and they're in the exact same position that Iowa State were in before. Well, not the exact same, but they have the ultimate advantage. They're so much closer than Iowa State are. Meowmere still trying to find these shots, not able to quite connect it yet, but Undead Donut doing a good job. He has his Dragon Blade at the ready.
Saber not with that Nano Boost, so he's going to have to go on this one without the help of Ana. See if he waits for it. Not really elected to go in quite just yet as the rest of the members of Iowa State slowly getting closer to their ultimates. Undead Donut filming around from the outside, the Earth Shatter lands, and here comes the Dragon Blade, just slashing through so many members, and just like that, the entirety of Iowa State dropped to Cincinnati, and they have that much more free time to push this payload to the end goal.
Yeah, this is mirroring the first attack so closely. Compositions are a little bit more different, but the situation is exactly the same. Right now, University of Cincinnati, they have the ultimate advantage once again. They've got the sound barrier for Lucio. They almost have that Graviton Surge, and honestly, they could commit the Graviton Surge just to make sure they get this point right now, but there we go. Iowa State are there to defend.
Iowa State here, they're looking to defend. The sound barrier comes out. Meowmere still looking for a pick, but in goes Amari. Picks up 3, picks up 4 with the Death Blossom, looking for even more for Iowa State. Here we go, finally dismantling the defense. Nobody but Amari picking him up in the kill feed, but Deviator finally finds one, and they manage to wipe off every single member of Cincinnati right there. Amari saying hi as Iowa State finally win a fight here. Managed to push off Cincinnati for just a little bit of time.
Yeah, and this time, things looking really good for Iowa State. They were able to push back University of Cincinnati. They've got their sound barrier, they've got the Dragon Blade, but on the side of Cincinnati, they're going to have the Graviton Surge along with that Nano Boost. Undead Donut getting very close to his Dragon Blade along with Rukata, and that Earth Shatter, especially with that Fire Strike, was able to get it up to 92%.
Deviator, however, it looks like they may commit to this fight. They got stuck in the Graviton Surge. Deviator fighting his way out. Gonna pop their Dragon Blade, but gets stuck right away. Undead Donut picking up 2 kills of their own, and Cincinnati coming ahead in the team fight. Slowly but surely, Biggie Nose picking up 1. Amari responds, but GGG takes down the Reaper. Now it's just double KO facing off against every member of Cincinnati, and the Zarya does drop. They push it to the second checkpoint. They got a little bit of extra time, and with 4 minutes and 40 seconds left on the clock, Cincinnati have nothing but options.
Yeah, neither team have any ultimates to work with here, but it was a great job coming out from the side of University of Cincinnati. Rukata just shutting down Deviator there, who was in the backline with that Dragon Blade. So secure that, make sure you know that threat is no longer there in place in your backline. Great job for him for even using the solo ulti onto that Genji. So now the payload making great distance here. 4 minutes and 15 seconds as they push in. Meowmere on the backline trying to go after the Zarya. Amari gets the first kill onto Undead Donut.
Here we go, Meowmere going around the outside. They're on the support line, takes down the Ana. Amari takes down Biggie Nose as well. Meowmere, however, trying to make his way out of there. Very low on health, looking for a health pack, with so many members of Iowa State picking up kills in the kill feed. That push by Cincinnati didn't go quite as well as they planned, but Iowa State, they're kind of shaking right now. That payload is so very close to the end goal. One lost team fight, and they give it up right here.
But Iowa State, they have 3 ultimates to work with, almost 4. Sound barrier coming up right now. Apparently Cincinnati trying to build up their war chest here.
Undead Donut does have that Dragon Blade available. Saber has that Nano Boost, and Rukata has the Earth Shatter. So a definite wombo combo potential up there. Meowmere even getting close to that Death Blossom, so they're just stalling out for time, waiting for the charges to come up. Here comes double KO with the Graviton Surge to begin with. Who's going to be the first one to drop? And that's Deviator finding 2 kills with the Deadeye. Double KO following it up with the opposite Zarya. But here comes Meowmere finally with the Death Blossom picking up 2. Has to find his way up, but no! Gets chased down by Amari on Iowa State. Undead Donut still alive and still doing damage in Cincinnati. It looks like they're pulling ahead before Amari takes down Biggie Nose. Just 11 health. He's looking for health right here. Getting pretty low, but finally he recharges. Undead Donut still on the point before he finally drops the Deviator. Cincinnati, it looked pretty good for them for a second, but Iowa State still keep their hopes alive.
Yeah, currently Iowa State with the time lead now, 3 minutes and 23 seconds. That's how long it took them to, that's how much they have left in their time bank. University of Cincinnati with 2 minutes and 35 seconds left on the clock. We do have the nano boosted Reinhardt ready to go on the side of Iowa State. So 2 really strong tools, but Cincinnati also have both of their tank ultimates. Undead Donut though is able to get the deflect kill onto Amari.
Here they go, deep into the backline. Graviton Surge gonna land on all of them, and just like that, it's all Genji in the kill feed. GGG and Wakata following it up with a couple of their own, and so many members of Iowa State, if not all of them, dropping to Cincinnati right there. Amari trying to Wraith form in, but just like that, it's a 3-3 tie. 2 minutes and 11 seconds available for Cincinnati. We're going into overtime.
Oh man, both teams looking really stellar here, but Iowa State a little bit better on their defense. We're able to shave off a minute 21 seconds, a minute 22 seconds off the clock there. And so they're going to be pushing forward with a definite advantage. University of Cincinnati, 2 minutes and 11 seconds. It's definitely doable on point A.
Yeah, I mean, we saw other teams make use with maybe just a minute of time on point A, so having double and change, it really changes the landscape of this overtime play out on Kings Row, because when you get into a situation where you only have a minute to push, your team composition is likely going to look a little bit different due to the decreased amount of time you have to scale up your ultimate and actually get access to those abilities. But considering that they have a solid over 2 minutes and change to work with here, Cincinnati, they don't really have to necessarily go full tilt YOLO into the team of Iowa State. They can play it a little bit more standard because they have a decent amount of time to work with. Patience is the name of the game here.
Yeah, it looks like they might be playing that patience game. Like you said, Meowmere, who did a fantastic job opening up with the Widowmaker, might be going for it again. Saber hovering over that Hanzo for now. 10 more seconds to go before the gates unlock for them. But is 2 minutes enough time to work with when you have a Widowmaker in your composition? I
mean, Meowmere we saw open up that entire first team fight with the initial pick onto Deviator, I believe.
Yeah.
So they're able to do it again. Meowmere gonna go for broke here, go with what worked the first time around. I would almost argue and say that the first headshot through the trees was kind of lucky to begin with, but Meowmere probably going to say otherwise. But we'll see if we can find a miracle shot like that again, because Iowa State crumbled after that first initial pick. But Cincinnati slowly getting present, slowly approaching the point itself. See where the first pick comes through. The Reinhardt shield getting shipped down low and low, lower and lower as time goes on. It's like Rukata finally looking to commit. They're on the point.
Oh, wow. Double KO jumping in, but he's already immediately brought down by Undead Donut. Amari was able to find 1 kill onto Rukata as Undead Donut is now in the back line again, getting these right clicks off. Dragonblade coming out. He's on the back line, gets the slash, takes out wins, but Amari was able to finish off Meowmere. Now the resets are coming in. Undead Donut with a triple kill so far, and this Reaper's so low on health, he's going to be easily cleaned up here, and it looks like Cincinnati might have just done it.
You can't leave your supports alone if you're somebody like Iowa State right there as Deviator finally does drop. The entire time, Undead Donut was able to just dive onto Wind and Barcode and just slash his way through the entire support line. But as we say that, it looks like Iowa State looking for a bit of life. Oh, they're looking to come back, but the Earthshatter stops them in their tracks. It's still contested somehow, but Undead Donut gonna finally pick it up. Iowa State going for broke. They're beating Cincinnati even more kills. And as a result of that, Meowmere and Biggie Nose picking up their ults. Meowmere just burned it though, to see them through the walls.
Yeah, they did force out Rukata's Earth Shatter there, which could be absolutely crucial. When you only have 35 seconds left to push, every single ultimate counts. And now we'll see how they fare against Iowa State's 4 ultimates. Amari almost on the 5th one there with that Death Blossom.
And Meowmere still electing to stay on this Widowmaker. We saw it do absolute work the last time they played on this rotation, so See if we can continue chaining those kills, because every single pick, like you said, matters in terms of the larger team fight. But Undead Donut coming around the backside. He has a lot of damage to chip through, though. But here comes the sound barrier for his team. It's a 1-for-1 so far. The Dragon Blade's coming out all over the place. Who's going to end up on top? It looks like it's Iowa State slowly pulling ahead in the fight. Cincinnati dropping so many members. Deviator jumping onto the opposite end. Oh, Saber somehow manages to win the 1v1, but it's a distraction enough as Cincinnati unable to get back to the payload. Gonna have to settle with 71.63 meters.
That was so unfortunate. It came down to milliseconds there. We did have that Genji in the backline. He had his Dragon Blade at the ready. Unfortunately, though, Iowa State chose that exact moment to actually engage upon them. They were stuck behind the corner there at the bend, and that Ana wasn't able to get the nano boost off onto him. If they did, it might have been a completely different story, going in favor of Cincinnati there.
Okay, but now, like we said, given the fact that Cincinnati did not push it all the way to the very end, we are not going to have a tie like we saw in one of the previous matches tonight. Iowa State, now it's their chance to try and push through and take this first map against Cincinnati. Deviator did absolute work on that Hanzo the first time around. Let's see if he sticks to it. It looks like they're going to do it. Why fix what ain't broken, as that double KO Deviator synergy paid off so well the first time around. And they have a lot more time to work with, too. They have like 1 minute and 12 seconds more than Cincinnati had. So that solid minute can mean a lot.
Yeah, and despite having used Rukada's Earth Shatter on that defense, I think University of Cincinnati made a great push with that payload. With the time that they were allotted, I mean, they only had 1 minute after the payload was unlocked to actually get it as far as they did. And from there, though, the team fight did go in favor of Iowa State, so now they are on the offensive. Pretty standard composition coming up from Cincinnati. Undead Donut will be picking up that Mei, though. And instead of running a Lucio, Biggie Nose will be picking up the Zenyatta. So we'll see how that pans out for them.
Well, increased pick potential, especially when it comes to chipping through these 3 tanks that they have. And Rukada somehow finding double KO immediately.
Yeah, that was the Cheese charge coming out. He was hiding inside the theater, and so as soon as he saw someone, just charge them right into the rest of his team, where they were able to solo him out and get that kill. So a great way to stall out for now. 3 minutes left on the clock. They were able to burn about 30 seconds off of Iowa State's clock.
And Rukada now getting closer to that ultimate, given that he did pick up the kill very early on into this. But Deviator now coming around the outside, looking for a scatter shot. Down onto them, now on cooldown, gonna have to back up. Rukada actually charging in deep, may pay for it with his life if he's not able to get out in time. Deviator laying down the hurt, the shield comes up just in time. The Shokinger actually the first one to go down. Biggie Nose finding a pick from the backline on that Zenyatta. Hook comes through, GGG somehow manages to roast through Amari regardless, and Cincinnati really heartily pushing out the first push from Iowa State.
But Wins almost has that that nano boost for himself, along with Deviator. He almost has the Dragon Strike. But man, this is looking pretty tough for Iowa State right now. Cincinnati does have the Graviton Surge to work with, so they have to be careful as they push forward. Blizzard is there for Undead Donut.
Oh, Undead Donut going down, though. That could be bad for Cincinnati right here as Iowa State now looking for the fight. GGG with the Graviton Surge and about 100 energy to boot to work with. Shokinger somehow takes down Saber, throws the midst of it, staying alive with like a negative health bar. Meowmere and Biggie Nose picking up kills of their own. GGG still holding onto that Graviton Surge, but there's so many members going down. Meowmere picking up 4 kills in that fight. Iowa State came up with a numbers advantage to start off with, but Cincinnati says, I don't care about any of that. Meowmere going big.
And they sustained the Graviton Surge and Blizzard. They did not have to commit that. So this next team fight could be dependent upon those 2 ultimates there. But on the side of Iowa State, they do still have that combo, that Graviton Surge, Dragon Strike. There we go. Graviton Surge out, and there it is. The Dragon Strike gonna get the kill onto Meowmere. That's a triple. Deviator taking out Rukada and Saber. So now things in favor of Iowa State as they push forward. Double KO getting the kill onto GGG. And now they're on to Undead Donut, who gets cleared by double KO, living up to his name with the double kill there.
Oh, the duo combination of double KO and Deviator paying off huge. It took them a while to actually get to that full combo. Oh, Meowmere sits the hell down as Deviator launches an arrow into the Tracer's face. The point just about to tick up here. 45 seconds on the clock. They're going to have to work with what they have here. It's a little bit more distance to push ahead of Cincinnati. Didn't push it all the way, so Iowa State just have to match.
Yeah, there are very few ultis on the side of Cincinnati right now, though. Rukada is very close to his Earth Shatter. Biggie Nose almost has his Transcendence, but, you know, a lot of times Transcendence just gets completely nullified by that Biotic Nade. There are 3 ultimates on the side of Iowa State, so things are looking pretty bad for Cincinnati currently.
I would say halfway to the point that they need to get it to, halfway in change at this point. Amari coming around the outside, looking for a hook. They have 3 ultimates available. Iowa State managed to find a solid hook. Deviator getting very close. Amari actually popping the whole hog right there, but the Earth Shatter to shut him down. Amari wakes up, finds a hook onto Vikinos, but the Transcendence, the invulnerability, gonna keep him alive. Deviator coming up big in the kill feed, finding 2 for himself with the Dragon Strike. But here he comes with the regular arrows coming around the outside, looking for more shots. Scatter shot on cooldown, about to come up. This clumped up team fight is exactly where Hanzo can really shine, and he takes down Biggie Nose. Amari picking up 2 of his own, and Iowa State getting so very close to it, and just like that, they managed to push it all the way. Cincinnati fall down 0-1.
In overtime. This was such a close match between these two teams. I mean, such a close map. Remember, this is just the first map of this best of 3 series, and it looked very, very close. Unfortunately, for the side of, I believe it's Cincinnati, they had that extra minute to, Iowa, they had that extra minute to work with, minute and change to work with, and that definitely allotted them the time they needed to be able to finish this off. And there we go. That's the Graviton Surge along with Dragon Strike combo that came out for them. There we go, Graviton Surge, and then, yeah, he definitely did fire at will. He actually fired at the entirety of that squad, taking them down.
I mean, if it works one time, it's probably going to work over and over again. It's one of the most simple ult combinations in the game. You hit Q first, and then I hit Q, and then we pick up like 3 or 4 kills. But even beyond that, even without the whole Dragon Strike Graviton Surge combo, Deviator was finding so many picks onto the enemy team, playing that very skirmish-heavy Hondo style where you jump in, you burn all your cooldowns, the scatter shot, you get it off, and then you just run away, look for picks from more longer range. So that's definitely a pick that worked out very well for Iowa State. If they can continue this momentum on, it's going to be awesome.
Yeah, so Kings Row. Remember, first map of this entire week, and it's going to be up to losers' pick. So we'll see where they actually decide to take it. But tonight hasn't been the best for losers' pick so far.
No, so far we've seen, I think, every single counter pick lose throughout the course of the evening, and it looks like the counter pick coming out on a map that we don't see very often, Ilios.
Oh, wow. Okay, one of the 3 King of the Hill maps, control point maps that probably is the least favored in competitive.
But it has the best weather, and it's probably the prettiest in terms of vacation destinations.
Oh, it's absolutely gorgeous. I mean, it looks like they just, picked up a postcard and was like, yep, we're making that a map.
Make that a map. Thank you, Greece, for coming up with our map design for us. You know, I actually, this is really embarrassing. I can't believe I'm about to say this live. I saw a picture of Greece on somebody's like Instagram or Facebook post. I'm like, oh, it's Ilios. It looks exactly the same, but Ilios is the counter pick coming out from Cincinnati. We saw Iowa State take a lot of those team fights pretty handily. And when it comes to control point maps, a lot of that comes down to those first initial skirmishes. On Ilios, positioning becomes so very important because when you're playing on Lighthouse, you don't want to get booped off the side. When you're playing on what I call the Sparta Pit, where actually that one would be considered Lighthouse, I guess. We see Roadhogs and Pharahs, Lucios go up way more in priority due to the fact that they can get those environmental kills. And then, of course, when we get to the actual pits, I think that's one of the purest gunfight on gunfight points that we see in the entire game, considering how open it is. And there's not really a whole lot of ways to cheese or make your way around the outside. It just comes down to those pure 6v6 brawls.
All right, so we do have a short pause coming in right now. One of the players having difficulty with their problems. Remember, this is an online tournament. Currently, they're working their way to making it towards the live finals, which will be taking place in January at a date still to be decided. But I mean, I'm so excited. It's all coming down to this next week and a half. We have the regional playoffs taking place this Sunday. I don't think it's going to be streamed. And then from there, we're moving on to the regional finals. And then we have to wait another month and a half, 2 months until the live finals take place. But that gives the players much needed rest, right? They'll be able to take winter break and then practice, scrim day in, day out for 2 months to practice for this.
And a lot of it has to come down to watching some of the replays and the VODs from the rest of the broadcast. We actually have some replays from the first map. We're going to pull them up right now. Of course, this is one of the most beautiful combinations we've seen throughout all of tonight's games. And Meowmere coming up with a flying jump shot onto Deviator. Absolutely sick plays as well. So both of these teams definitely have chops when it comes to their individual mechanics and their team play. Of course, that one a little bit more simple. You run in with the bubble and the nano boost, you hit Q, and then good things happen for your team. But I mean, these are 2 teams that I know us as a staff, I heard a lot of people, both crew and us, talking about, all right, who's going to take it? Iowa State or Cincinnati? Probably one of the most hyped matchups of the night. So far, it hasn't disappointed at all. Both of these teams taking the first capture on Kings Row with minutes to spare, even though Iowa State had that minute and 10-second lead. The fact that Cincinnati had still 2 minutes and change, those are very quick capture times when you look at it in the entire scope of competitive Overwatch.
And they were both going blow for blow in every exchange there. And it came down to like one tiny minuscule pick, you know, that made it a huge difference. And it's really surprising to see that they're playing at this level. They look fantastic. They're using their ultimates and, you know, combining them very well. They're being very patient with the rest of their ultis, and you can see, like, in every team fight, they're trying their best to manage their ultimate and make sure they're not blowing too many. And yeah, they're playing at a really great level right now.
And it's awesome to see, and we're finally ready for game 2. We're going to jump into Ilios. This is going to be the counter pick coming out from Cincinnati. So Iowa State, we'll see if they can continue that momentum going into the second game, as we're going to load into it very, very shortly. But Ilios is a map that, why do you think we don't see it a whole lot?
Well, it's just not one of the favored control point maps. People prefer Lijiang and Nepal over Ilios. Ilios, though, like, it can at times be so frustrating because of the ability for people like Lucio to get those environmental kills, right? It can be actually absolutely infuriating.
As a Lucio player, I have to say I am very much in love with Ilios, especially when you play on the point with the giant pit in the middle. It's so much fun to get like 2-3 pieces knocking people in. Of course, at the higher levels of play, you're not going to see that as often, but when you do see it, it's absolutely gorgeous because these teams are a lot more cognizant of their individual positioning. But 8 seconds left on the clock. It looks like pretty standard comps coming out. Amari and Deviator and Shoking are actually going for a triple dive comp, as I say right there. This point comes a lot down to who gets booped into the middle. Winston pretty good at that once he gets the Primal Rage. Looks like they're just going to go full out aggressive. Look at the Tracer's gold guns.
This triple dive comp, though, is going to spell nightmares for Meowmere, though. He has to be careful. He's going to have a Genji and a Winston right on top of him. So we do see the Winston jumping on in. They haven't actually dealt with Meowmere quite yet, but they're going aggressive. Biggie Nose is the first one to get the kill onto Showkinger as Undead Donut takes out Barcode. Deviator finally answers back, taking out Saber. Is that going to be enough, though? No, as Undead Donut picks up a second kill, taking out Winston. Now they are on the hunt, Cincinnati pushing forward.
Oh, Meowmere even finding his way into the action with that Widowmaker shot, but Undead Donut definitely the star of this first team fight, as so many kills being picked up by him, 80% on his Dragon Blade already, and Biggie Nose even getting in on the action, providing so many heals throughout the entirety of it. How often do you see a Lucio at 95% sound barrier charge at just the first rotation or the first team fight?
It's pretty scary, and seeing as how Undead Donut is also very close to his Dragon Blade, they could immediately couple that together with the engage. It could be very strong for them. They are being forced back. Undead Donut finds the first kill in Sparkle, and there we go, Meowmere. They don't know where his positioning is right now. He gets this free shot off, taking out Deviator, but it's Undead Donut helping clean up Iowa State.
Just continuing this snowball, they get a very big early lead. Cincinnati, so they're just able to snowball on that. Undead Donut not hesitating to pop the Dragon Strike at all, because the quicker you pop it, the more time you have available to charge up to your next cycle. But Deviator and Amari on the other side do have their ultimates available. Shoking are very close to that Primal Rage as well. So Iowa State going to have a decent number of tools coming into this next fight, but Cincinnati already have 53% on the board, so Iowa State going to have to make a move soon.
Oh, we have the Graviton Surge coming on out for the side of University of Cincinnati. They haven't been able to follow up the damage quite yet, but there we go. Saber gets the first kill onto Amari. Now GG. G takes out Illo before he finally gets cleaned up by double KO, but still, it's a one-man advantage for Cincinnati. But there we go. Deviator's on the backline trying to take out Ana, but no. Biotic Nade comes out, and he's so
he gets shut down. Oh, that's so bad for the team of Iowa State. They popped so many ultimates there to try to make something happen, but the members of Cincinnati just mow right through them. Deviator losing that Dragon Blade is going to be so difficult to push with beyond that. And now Meowmere has set up shop on this top lighthouse. We were really questioning this Widowmaker pick, wondering if this would be the best choice on this particular point on Ilios, but so far Meowmere doing a great job finding picks left and right, and more importantly, denying this middle section to Iowa State. They're going to have to find an alternate route to attack.
Yeah, Undead Donut already with 2 kills in this engagement. Sound Barrier is popped on the side of Iowa State, but once again, Undead Donut, he did have that nano boost, and now he's on the hunt for this Reaper. Is going to get the deflect off him to bring him low, but will not get the finishing blow quite yet. GGG does clean up Showkinger right now. It is in overtime. Iowa State have to stay on the point. They cannot lose, but there we go. Undead Donut, Meowmere going to clean up those 2 stragglers. Now, we do have a Tracer on the point with the Ana to try and keep him alive, but how long are they going to be able to sustain this?
With no ults available and Amari not very close to it at all, I don't think Iowa State can hold out for any longer. Meowmere just pushes ahead, laying down the shots without Widowmaker, finding double KO and Showkinger. The headshots lining up for this Widowmaker. She has never felt more alive.
Yeah, despite starting off with that triple dive composition where 2 of your members can actually get to that Widowmaker, they opted to just go straight for the front door and engage onto the front line. They did not put any pressure onto Meowmere. Meowmere spent about 90% of his time on this map up there on that lighthouse getting free shots off. No one challenging him at all.
There's so much to be said for the front line of Cincinnati, making sure that Iowa State have no choice but to hit the front line. Because generally, as the diving type heroes in Overwatch, you want to just find the squishies and just start clicking all over them. They're probably going to die very, very quickly, but Cincinnati, aware of what Iowa State University wanted to do, making sure that their squishier members are well taken care of. And like you said, Meowmere, it's actually surprising to see Meowmere go Reaper. Typically when we see Widowmakers, it's on this pit portion of Ilios.
Yeah, but instead,
McCree.
They are going to go ahead and off for McCree now. That's going to be Meowmere. I mean, he's already proven that he's a really good hit scan player with that Widowmaker. Double dive coming out from Iowa State. Deviator still on the Genji. We've seen him do work on King's Row. Showkinger picking up that Winston. We'll see who they decide to engage on together. Showkinger jumps on in, but he doesn't have that Winston quite there for him. He has to back away. 22 HP, so low, but he does get to safety there. Now it's going to be Meowmere going down first to Amari, so now it's a 6v5 fight, and this Winston hunting down the squishies. Deviator actually gets the kill onto Undead Donut before he finally goes down. Amari trying to keep himself alive, but no, it's going to be Biggie Nose that comes in to finish him off. Both supports actually helping out the side of University of Cincinnati. Showkinger still trying to get onto his back line, has to be careful. Is going to wait on his cooldown. Now he's on the hunt for GGG.
GGG, however, forced to run away as they finally realize that Iowa State have the advantage here. In a regroup, look for the next fight. Rukata, however, taking down Win. He stays alive throughout all of it. He's so very low on health, but he gets the heals from his teammates to keep the fight going. Contesting still the point. Iowa State at 10%, but Rukata comes in with the charge, finds it onto Showkinger. Meowmere finds one on the outside as well. The University of Cincinnati, with that team fight, managed to take control, only allowing Iowa State to get the first 13%.
Yeah, it just came down to one melee. Showkinger just needed to hit his melee button there. Rukata would have been dead. He would not have gotten that Earth Shatter off, but instead, somehow Rukata survived with 1 bar of health. Now, Undead Donut is going to get jumped on by Showkinger and immediately has to back away. But they still have 4 ultimates to work with, 21% on the board. There we go. Nano Blade coming out. He's going to be able to dash out of that Graviton Surge. 2 dead on the side of Iowa State as Undead Donut picking up 4-piece now with that Dragon Blade, and now he's on the hunt. There we go, get the deflect. Is he gonna get the ace?
Oh,
no!
Biggie
knows!
Scumbag Lucio stealing the 6-piece ace from Undead Donut, but hey, a 5-piece is a 5-piece. At the end of the day, you're gonna feel really good as Undead Donut. Cincinnati, we talked about how the story of tonight was the counter pick tends to lose, but they're bouncing back so very incredibly hard on Ilios right here. We talked about how it's a map we don't typically see in the competitive rotation, but obviously Cincinnati was ready. It looks like they're ready for this next team fight.
Yeah, GGG, he did have that Biotic Nade land on him, so he's going to back away from now as he hopes for the healing to come in, but it's going to be Showkinger that gets the first kill to Biggie Nose, but Meowmere comes in with a huge Deadeye, picking up 2. Undead Donut will take out Amari, but Wins finally answers on back. Wins has to get to the safety of his team, but no, the melee comes in. Undead Donut getting another kill there, and now they're on the hunt for this Tracer.
Gosh, Undead Donut is just so annoying if you're the members of Iowa State right now. He's dashing his way in, playing with such confidence. He finally does fall, but that was after he picked up like 17,000 kills. He has the Dragon Blade when he comes up. GGG and Rukata have those massive AoE CC ults available as well. Cincinnati on the cusp of taking the second point for themselves, but here comes Iowa State looking for a comeback.
Yeah, but there's so many ultimates. Here we go. Graviton Surge lands onto 4 members. It's an easy cleanup for Cincinnati. GGG picking up a double kill. 98, 99% Deviator trying to keep it alive, but no, he gets cleaned up by Biggie Nose.
And what a pretty significant stomp being showed by Cincinnati right here. We saw Iowa State make pretty quick work of them on King's Row on the first map that we saw between these two teams. teams. And we're wondering if the Ilios pick from Cincinnati was going to pay off, and so far, those are pretty clean 2-0s. But we're going to get to the final, potentially the final point on this Ilios map. A lot of environmental collateral damage possible here. Biggie Nose and Barcode, the two Lucios for each team. Gonna have their work cut out for them. Let's see who gets the massive boop.
Do you think it could be keys? Like piano keys? He was a vocal something major.
I would assume it's Barcode, because typically when we see it, it's like in like esports or like ladder settings, it's usually players who just don't want to be recognized.
That is true.
Well, congratulations, you're on the air.
That's 3 I's, 1 L, 2 I's, 1 L.
I'm not.
Just for anyone now.
Ill.
All right, so now we are here on to the third point of Ilios. University of Cincinnati on map point, trying to tie it up in this series against Iowa State. Undead Donut, though, gets into the backline, taking out that Zenyatta, takes out both supports, so there's no sustain. Undead Donut did his damage before he goes down.
Iowa State, they're going to have to find some sort of response to Undead Donut, whether it's a McCree on the backline, a Maid, or Friesen, but the fact that they're letting this Genji have such free reign, they have no answers to it. They're unable to win these team fights because they always start them off a couple of members down. Undead Donut can continue finding these early picks. I don't think Cincinnati's going to have any trouble making this a 3-0.
Yeah, they're already 10% in the lead here as we do see Amari trying to get into the back line. Wins! Going down immediately. Undead Donut once again just targeting down these supports. Makes it look so easy as Saber keeps his entire team alive with that Ana. I mean, take a look at how much damage they did not take. He's only at 70% ultimate charge.
And Undead Donut coming out very close to another Dragon Blade. Saber pretty close to that nano boost as well. And GGG, once you get that Graviton Surge, well, you add all of those and you have a pretty devastating cocktail for Iowa State. But Shellkinger does have the Primal Rage if he's looking for the knockoffs, especially on this hill on Ilios, because there's so many dangerous places for you to stand for the members holding on to this point. But 42% on the board for Cincinnati. Iowa State looking to regroup, maybe go for a different approach. Shellkinger goes in deep, looking for the first distraction. Ricotta finds the first kill onto them, but here comes the nano boosted Dragon Blade. He's going straight for the Graviton Surge. A triple kill for Undead Donut. Somebody nerf this guy. He's straight hard carrying Cincinnati.
Man, this is just highlight reel after highlight reel for these players. University of Cincinnati, 62% now. Undead Donut playing a dangerous game here, was able to back away to his team. So now 70% on the board for Cincinnati. Iowa State do have two ultimates to work with, Graviton Surge along with Deviators, Dragon Blade, but they've got to approach this in united front. The flashbang does miss. Deviator gets that first kill onto Saber. Now he's on the back line trying to go after him. There we go, takes out Meowmere, but Undead Donut answers right back with a two-piece of his own. We do have the Genji Sleeper now. Undead Donut has to be careful. He is able to dash into the point, but immediately gets cleaned up by Amari, who picks up a double kill in the nick of time. 87% before Iowa State take control of the point.
All right, Iowa State, they have a little bit of hope left in this. They're down 2-0 right now, but they finally managed to get control of this point. Double KO still sitting on that Graviton Surge, and Amari, the Death Blossom, coming up relatively soon, so this next fight, they're going to have some tools to deal with. Cincinnati, there's a brief window where Iowa State's going to have that ult advantage over them, so we'll see exactly how they take advantage of that time.
Oh, we do have the Graviton Surge, and this is going to be an easy cleanup for Iowa State. 3 members already down on the side of Cincinnati, and they are crumbling here. Shellkinger finishes off GGG. Now Amir trying to back away to his team. Undead Donut is going to be the final casualty here in this team fight.
All right, Iowa State bouncing back. Undead Donut. We see if we shut him down first, the map tends to play out a lot more cleanly for Iowa State. And now, they didn't actually burn a whole lot other than the Graviton Surge. They have 4 ultimates still available for Iowa State. And when you combine the bubble, well, we call it the Beyblade composition, because you just send Amari in there, Death Blossom with the nano boost, and here he goes, jumping straight in, picks up one. Undead Donut, that's the one you want to find. And here he goes onto the hill. Wins picks up one. Amari finds a second one, and the members of Cincinnati are forced to scatter. Saber not able to get away in time, and Meowmere the only surviving member after that onslaught of Iowa State damage. 65% now on the board by Iowa State. They're looking to overtake Cincinnati.
Yeah, there's no clear synergy, though, for Iowa State in this next team fight in terms of their ultimates, right? They're going to have the Dragon Blade. They're going to have that Primal Rage. There's going to be a lot of chaos, which might allow Deviator to, try and single out targets with that. But there we go. Graviton Surge comes out on the side of University University of Cincinnati. They've got their own Dragon Blade, and now Undead Donut, unfortunately, does not get a kill. Amari finishes him off. Rukata does get the kill onto Wins for now, though, but Amari coming in, gets a double kill, taking out Rukata, and now they're on the hunt, 90% on the board. They're going to go for the sacrifice and try to go for one last push, but I don't know if they have enough time.
Amari now chasing away the opposite Zarya. I don't think there's any members of Cincinnati respawning soon enough in order to take this. So just like that, Iowa State stay alive on Ilios, making sure to prevent the clean 3-0 sweep.
Yeah, so instead of trying to directly counter Undead Donut on the opposite end, they're just going to go ahead and run that pretty similar composition themselves. And yeah, Deviator definitely pulled his weight there on that Genji, but now here we are onto the well portion once again of Ilios.
Yeah, you don't necessarily have to hard counter a hero with a hero pick of your own. It just seemed like Iowa State was doing a lot better considering they just started paying a lot more attention to Undead Donut. But we saw the first time around on Ilios, on this point, Meowmere was able to just get up on that top lighthouse, start laying down the sniper shots with that Widowmaker, and was able to find an incredible amount of picks for Cincinnati. But Iowa State, they already saw this strategy the first time around. Are they ready to respond? They're going for that double dive comp. They were running a Tracer last time. Amari gonna stay on that Reaper. See how this first fight goes, because last time Cincinnati did him dirty.
Yeah, Meowmere playing really far back here, trying to get these free shots off, start working towards that ultimate of his, which gives away so much information, especially for a good Genji player. He can use that. Yeah, we've already seen Deviator dropped really low. Meowmere still getting some free shots off here. Now he's going to go ahead and change up his position. Shokinger trying to find Meowmere, but now he is distracted by this Genji. Undead Donut trying to go after him there on that Genji. It's going to be GGG coming in, gets that initial frag onto double KO, and Undead Donut finally cleans up Amari. Meowmere will finally go down to Deviator, but that's not going to be enough as Cincinnati take control of the point.
And even though Meowmere didn't necessarily pick up an early kill or a whole lot of damage to begin with, the fact that Meowmere's presence as the Widowmaker forced Iowa State to split off and attack the fight from multiple angles, Cincinnati was then able to isolate each individual skirmish, pick them off one at a time, and at the end of the day, Meowmere was kind of more of a distraction for the members of Cincinnati. Iowa State kind of fell for the bait. They tried to go 2 full tilts for the Widowmaker, and as a result, Undead Donut has that Dragon Blade picking up 2. Biggie Nose following it up with one of his own. He's going to continue hacking and slashing, takes down double KO, and now the opposite Genji Deviator, the only one left alive for Iowa State, as it looks like Cincinnati putting more and more points on the board. Iowa State struggling.
Yeah, and this is 2 team fights in, and unfortunately for Iowa State, they've only been able to farm up 1 ultimate. That's going to be Deviator with that Dragon Blade. They're still pretty far away from the rest of their ultis. They don't have the Graviton Surge ready on double KO. He's only at 50%. Shokinger almost has his Primal Rage. There we go. We do have the Winston jumping in, but he was put to sleep for a little bit. He's still in the back line here, trying to play around that barrier. He is debuffed by that Biotic Nade, but he's still in the back line doing a huge amount of distraction, but it's going to be Rukata that comes and gets the first kill. Now Shokinger finally takes out Saber, but take a look at that. Graviton Surge lands onto about 3 members of Iowa State. We have the whole hawk coming out from Rukata. No kills yet, but no! He gets knocked off by double KO's alternate fire. Now Meowmere did get the kill onto that Lucio, and take a look at the positioning coming out from him.
Yeah, Meowmere just jumping around, playing frontline and just juking him with the constant grapple ability, and Undead Donut now slowly cleaning up the fight, diving onto the backline of Iowa State University. Just 15% left on the clock available for Iowa State. They're going to have to make this next push work, but considering that they're all on staggered respawn cycles, this is going to be tricky. They're looking to end right here with Undead Donut, the Dragon Blade coming through, and this is something we've seen over and over again on Ilios. The guy, give him the Nano Boost, give him the Dragon Blade, and he's just going to cut through all the members of Iowa State. Ladies and gentlemen, and the final match. Oh, I called it too early. It's not over yet. The Graviton Surge comes out. Here they go. Amari making his way in. Can Iowa State hold out?
Oh, that was so unfortunate. Double KO was able to make it. Now they are getting in there one by one, but Biggie Nose gets that kill on, so wins. And now it's these last 2 members to try and keep it alive. But if they leave the point once, take a look at all the free shots that Meowmere is getting off. And wow, the Genji actually makes it back, but it's Meowmere.
Meowmere taking off Deviator's head there. So, for the final match of the Overwatch TESPA Collegiate Series tonight between Iowa State University and the University of Cincinnati, we're going to a Game 3.
And it's largely off the back of Undead Donut here, who is putting in so much work with that Genji. We were here.
Got a 5-piece right here.
Yeah, 2, there's 3, there's 4. Gonna clean up this Winston.
And get KS'd.
Oh, yeah. Wow, and such a dominant performance that there were only 3 cards there at the end.
It's like I deserve all of them.
Yeah.
I honestly felt a little bit bad for Undead Donut. He was about to pick up the clean ace, and then his support of all people came in and picked that one up. But at the end of the day, Overwatch is a team game. All that matters is that your teammates get the kill.
He still got highlight reel though, so.
This is true. He's probably going to make it into one of the top 5 play videos. So solid performance by the University of Cincinnati. They got pretty dismantled pretty handily by. Oh my gosh, I'm spacing so hard. Iowa State on the first map on Kings Row, but turns out that the first counterpick tonight that I think we saw that worked out well for the actual counterpicking team. They showed so much dominance on Ilios. Iowa State stayed alive by taking 1 round, but at the end of the day, Undead Donut was just such a force to deal with. Amari seemed like he had a decent amount of time kind of countering him by focusing him down a lot more in those skirmishes, but that was just only 1 round. Undead Donut just did Undead Donut things following through, and it was largely because of him that I feel like Cincinnati pulled out such a dominant victory on Ilios.
Yeah, but Kings Row was definitely very close.
It was close.
And so for Cincinnati to have their comfort pick in Ilios there definitely helped them out, and it looked like a completely different team there, right? They just dismantled them there on Ilios. So our next map is going to be on Route 66. This is going to be Iowa State's pick. They're starting off on the attack on the side of University of Cincinnati. On the defense, it looks like they are hovering over that triple tank composition. One more time, Undead Donut on the Roadhog, and of course we've got the Zarya and Ricada on Reinhardt. We do have a pause coming out, so second time tonight that we are getting the pause function used, and you know, it is definitely helpful. No one wants to win in a 6v5. The winners don't even feel happy about that.
Yeah, a joke that a lot of like fellow peers of mine in the collegiate scene make is that whenever you cast a collegiate tournament, you're always going to have a pause here and there. But the fact that we can pause, make sure that these players get all the chances that they can to get back into the game, because we want to make sure we put on a good show for you guys. Nobody in the tournament, I feel like, will feel good about winning a 6v5 to begin with. So take a few minutes, make sure all the players get back into the game. But it's an interesting pick, Route 66, because first off, we saw the hybrid map play out in the form of Kings Row. Then we went to the very aggressive and all over the place map of Ilios on that control point. Cincinnati going absolutely big on that one. But here we come back with this pick of Route 66, Iowa State. They started off pretty darn strong on Kings Row. Cincinnati bounced back even harder on Ilios, but it all comes down to this pure payload map on Route 66. A lot of fireworks to be had, especially once you get inside on that third and final stretch. But looks like the fight here gonna start off at Big Earls. We know a lot of teams kind of like to give up that mid street first and take the fight as soon as they get around the building.
Yeah, there's no real good place to try and hold other than Big Earls here. It's so easy to get knocked off on the ledges there. And yeah, that's McCree. We haven't seen too much McCree here. We've actually seen a lot more Genji, but take a look at that. Jesse McCree with cigar in hand. I forget, is that an actual biotic hand of his? It is, right? So. He lost his left arm?
It looks pretty robot-y to me.
Yeah.
He got it built in aimbot.
He does, actually. So yeah, Deviator is actually going to be picking up the man of the hour, McCree, here on the offense. They're running that triple tank composition for Iowa State, so they're looking for Amari to try and find a pick, and he just might onto Undead Donut, who did have to dash away there. On the side of Cincinnati for their defense, they're running a standard 2-2-2 composition. Meowmere picking up the McCree for himself, and Undead Donut, of course, sticking to that Genji, which he was using to great success in the last map.
Of course, this is where we see action start to blow up as Biggie Nose actually finding the first pick on to win. Support on support action as we had started off in Ricada. Actually finding the second support on Iowa State. They're going to have to back up here. No sustain available to them, but just like that, Undead Donut takes Deviator in the 1v1, manages to take him down. So clean 4 kills for University of Cincinnati thus far. Route 66 looking pretty solidly in their favor thus far.
Yeah, so they played that perfectly. They played the high ground, let their backliners get in there, and they didn't overcommit to like jumping down prematurely. So that's why they still are maintaining high ground control here, and they're waiting for Undead Donut to try and engage upon the entirety of Iowa State University. Shokinger does have 67% towards his ulti, but it's going to be very hard if they don't jump down on him. Now they are just trading damage from across the map at this point. They're just waiting for someone to get down. They do have one person, but Undead Donut does have his Dragon Blade. He's already in the back to get the kill onto wins. He's chasing down The Zarya player is going to be double KO going down, so that's 2 kills. That's a third as GGG comes in along with Meowmere. Now he's on the hunt for this Lucio.
Man, it looks like University of Cincinnati are riding that momentum from the Ilios win so very hard. Meowmere picking up a final 2 kills right there. McCree doing great things on Route 66, but man, I've said this over and over again. Iowa State need to find a way to shut down Undead Donut because every time he has Dragon Blade, I swear he picks up at least 2 or 3 kills. And if you let that happen over and over again, you guys are just getting super duper outplayed. They're going to have to find a stun onto him, focus him down, find a hook or something because Undead Donut, you cannot let him have free reign.
Oh, we do have the nano boosted Deadeye coming in. Meowmere gets 2 off of that. Now he's onto the back line, chasing down double KO. He does have the barrier to keep him alive for now, but not long as GGG cleans him up.
This could be over very quickly. Iowa State only have 1 minute and 40 seconds left in order to push ahead, and Cincinnati has cut them off every single time they've gone for a team fight. But Iowa State, they do have ultimate. Oh my gosh, I think Amari misclicked.
Oh no.
Amari totally misclicked. He had ultimate 2 seconds ago. Yo, that is so bad if you're Iowa State.
Now they are going to go ahead and push forward, but here's the Graviton Surge, connects onto about 3 members. There's a Dragon Blade coming out from Undead Donut, already got 1 kill. GGG is actually one that's filling up the kill feed. That's 4 going on over in favor of University of Cincinnati.
Oh, that's gotta feel so bad. You have all these ingredients to make the perfect pumpkin pie, and then your dog comes in and eats half of the ingredients. Amari had the benefit of having the Earth Shatter, the High Noon, and the Nano Boost, but the fact that they just accidentally clicked it early on and they don't have it available, it's gotta feel bad if you're Iowa State.
Is pumpkin safe for dogs?
I don't know.
That's yeah, a topic for another discussion later on. Deviator immediately getting taken out by Undead Donut, and they don't know how to crack this defense. Meowmere gets a kill with that Deadeye, and even though the Nano Boost was out for Showkinger, we have that CC trade coming in, and he did absolutely nothing with it.
I mean, it seems like every single fight, I don't know what else to say. Iowa State just roll in, they die, they do it over again, they roll in, they die. Undead Donut gets like 7,000 kills, and it just happens over and over again. Iowa State now with only 15 seconds left on the clock, they haven't been able to use their ultimates in the past like 2 team fights. Well, when you have 10 seconds left on the clock, you don't really have a choice but to go right now.
Yeah, you gotta throw everything out there. Undead Donut almost has his Dragon Blade. Graviton Surge does come out. Biggie Nose gets the first kill onto Wins, and now things looking so bad as Saber picks up the kill onto that Lucio. Deviator finally did answer, taking out Undead Donut. There we go! Get the double kill with this High Noon. Now he's pushing forward with the 4K. Is he gonna get the 5? He does!
Just like that, right when we're about to write off Iowa State, they managed to come up huge. Deviator picking up a 5-piece. Huge Deadeye followed up with just the primary fires. Overtime ticking down, but it looks like Cincinnati gonna make it back. Not gonna make it back in time unless Undead Donut goes 1v6.
We do have the Nano Boost onto Undead Donut. No, not onto Undead Donut. It's actually Tracer here in the backline who has been put to sleep. That's gonna allow them to actually get this checkpoint finally.
Minute and 25 seconds, so not a lot of time, Jamerson, especially considering that this map kind of opens up, gets a little bit more vertical, especially with that saloon on your left side. So Iowa State, they struggled so much to win that one team fight by Earls, and when you have so many different angles that a Genji can come from, when you open up the second part of Route 66, they're gonna have to have eyes on the back of their head.
Yeah, high ground control over for University of Cincinnati, and we do still see Undead Donut trying his best to get into the back line, causing such a huge distraction for Cincinnati.
Here we go, here comes the breakdown. Lucio Soundberry being popped on behalf of Iowa State. They do drop Deviator though. Here comes Undead Donut with the Dragon Blade from around the outside. Not elected to pop it quite just yet, just being a distraction, a thorn in their side. Amari and Showkinger find 2 for Iowa State. Looks like Undead Donut still around the outside, not quite elected to pop it just yet. Looking for skirmish, look for chip damage. It looks like he wants to regroup back up with his team. It's an in and out, constant skirmishing. Looks like he's finally gonna pop it. Here he dives onto the opposite support, finds 2 in 1 fell swoop, and he's going for even more. Now looking to Showkinger. Showkinger's just trying to protect the support right there. The hammer gonna keep him away, and double KO gonna find Undead Donut finally. 15 seconds on the clock. Iowa State still pushing ahead. Here comes the double Graviton Surge. Looks like who's gonna fall first? Saber finds 1. Rukana with the Nano Boost just slicing through Showkinger. University of Cincinnati slowly shoving up the members of Iowa State. The Earth Shatter comes through. Deviator does fall, and just like that, Cincinnati keep Iowa State to 1 point.
That was so close, but a crucial Nano Boost coming out onto that Reinhardt on the side of University of Cincinnati gave them that firepower to clean up that team fight as the clock was ticking down for them. So, great hold for Cincinnati. They stopped them before they could even get close to that second checkpoint. Now, they have a pretty easy job on their hands.
Oh, we jinxed it. Got a pretty easy job on their hands. You know what's going to happen now, right?
Well, Meowmere, he's picked up the Widowmaker.
Oh.
Yeah, we'll see if he actually sticks to it for now. Iowa State going with a pretty standard composition on their end. They're going, once again, for that triple tank setup. So double KO picking up, of course, that Zarya, which he has been doing a really great job on, but unfortunately, it's getting outshone by Cincinnati's Undead Donut. Like, he's letting great Graviton surges, but Undead Donut is just doing an amazing job.
I just want to draw everybody's attention to the menu on the screen right now. Bacon and bacon. Why don't any local restaurants put this on their menus? This is a
secret menu.
Secret menu.
It's actually a dessert. Bacon and bacon.
Have you ever had like candied bacon?
I have.
Yo, it's dangerous. Don't do it.
Chocolate-covered bacon at like the Los Angeles Fair.
Or OC Fair. That's
yeah.
like, oh my God, chocolate-covered deep fried. I'm like really hungry right now. I think I'm learning. World famous
Donuts,
roadkill
chicken
burgers.
and waffles. I mean, sounds like my kind of dinner.
There's a very solid chance that dinner is going to consist of just that. But Cincinnati may be having dinner with a big smile on their face if they're able to push ahead, get that first point, and get that initial 51.18 meters. That's not very far at all. Just one solid push, and that they should be able to overtake that distance. But it's on Iowa State to make sure that Cincinnati doesn't push through. The fight's going to come down to Big Earls. Cincinnati, when they're on the defensive side, every time they saw an opening, they just jumped right on it. Let's see if Iowa State show that same level of aggression.
Yeah, so once again, here is the triple tank composition coming out from Iowa State. Undead Donut on that Genji, of course, and now Meowmere pulling out, once again, that Widowmaker, which was used to huge success on Ilios.
Oh.
Now, there's no one really to deal with him because he can just play at range.
Look at how aggressive they're playing. Undead Donut just flies right up there, looking to separate them, and just like that, Meowmere finds the snipe with the help of the hook. Here he comes, just looking for even more. The snipe damage coming out. Undead Donut finding one onto Amari. Jamerson, this may be quicker than we anticipated.
Yeah, no defense coming out quite yet on the side of Iowa State. They still have time to build it up, but Meowmere, nice headshot onto Wins. Once again, going uncontested on this Widowmaker. Undead Donut finds the kill onto Deviator, and they are picking apart this Iowa State team.
Who would have thought that an offensive Widowmaker on maps like Ilios and Route 66 would prove to work out so well? Undead Donut staying alive throughout all of it. That's a double kill picked up without the use of Dragon Blade, and he sneaks out with 13 health left in his pocket. 4 minutes and 25 seconds left on the clock. They have activated this first checkpoint. They just need to push it 51 meters and change in order to take this series over Iowa State.
Shokinger has to feel bad about that because that was a deflected fire strike coming out that allowed Undead Donut to get that double kill. He has his Dragon Blade at the ready. He's got the high ground. He's ready to pounce on top of them.
Ricotta very close to that Earth Shatter, and we know if they chain it up, it could be very good news for Undead Donut. Iowa State just pulling out everything they can to stave off Cincinnati. They come slowly pushing the point forward. Here comes Undead Donut from around the outside, slashing his way through. The Sound Barrier comes through to try and mitigate some of the damage, but it looks like it's a 2-for-2 trade so far. Deviator going in deep with the Reaper to pick up a couple of kills of his own, but GGG now coming around with the Roadhog, healing his way up before he drops. The hook misses. He's still looking for damage, has to reload, coming around on this Zarya, but she gets away. GGG now low on health, sticking to the payload to get the heals off. Meowmere finding a pick, but Deviator doing everything he can to keep the members of Cincinnati off. Here he goes around, now looking for the Reinhardt. He finds the long-range shot onto Meowmere. The sniper finally going down. Iowa State, this is such a scrappy fight. Deviator finally goes down. Ricotta going for the final push, and this could be over very soon.
Yeah, we do have the Earth Shatter coming out on the side of Iowa State, but Amari goes down. It's all down to Shokinger trying to keep this alive. He did dodge the charge, but Saber will take him out. There's no one here to contest it. University of Cincinnati have done it.
2-1 over Iowa State on Route 66. We saw that first map go in favor of Iowa State on Kings Row. Cincinnati bounced back so strong with their Ilios pick, and here on Route 66, Iowa State got shut down so very early. Cincinnati made easy work of them, and they're going to emerge from this series victorious.
Oh, man. Once again, that counter pick curse coming out into play here, but unfortunately it did not work out for Iowa. It was Cincinnati who were able to run it back. Iowa took the lead initially in that Kings Row victory there. Take a look. Even though, despite the heroics of Deviator here on this victory, they just were not able to keep that going. the defense coming out from Cincinnati, it was just fantastic there on top of Big Earls.
And this is something that I feel like good Overwatch teams do. Even when you're playing defense, you don't necessarily have to just defend hole up and like turtle up. Every time they saw an opportunity where Iowa State was just a little bit out of position, maybe the front line was a little bit too far ahead. I mean, Undead Donut probably the MVP for Cincinnati here because he's just sneaking through, finding his way to the back lane, even without Dragon Blade, consistently finding those headshots with the shurikens and just managing to escape over and over again with like 10 health, 20 health.
And his priority targeting was fantastic.
Yeah.
There were so many times where the first 2 or 3 swings of his Dragon Blade ended up getting both supports in the back line. It was amazing.
And that's something you just can't allow for to happen if you're on any sort of Overwatch team. You want to make sure that your supports, like even though supports, they're the ones who keep everybody else alive. If you don't keep your supports alive, then there's nobody to keep you alive. Therefore, you're probably just all going to die off very, very slowly, especially when you go into a team fight because the sustain of the supports like Lucio and Honor are definitely most sorely missed when you get into those long, extended team fights. And like you said, Undead Donut over and over again managed to find his way to the supports who were somehow consistently left unprotected.
Yeah, and that was really rough for Iowa State, so now they do have that 1 in their loss record, but we do have someone from the victorious team, the 5-0 Cincinnati, University of Cincinnati. It's actually going to be Gary Saber-Lee on the side of University of Cincinnati. Gary, congratulations on your victory today. How do you and your team feel after this?
I have a little something to say for that. Let me hear. That's how we're feeling right now.
Should we end the interview right here? There's no way we're going to top that, right?
There is no way to top that.
Let's talk a little bit more. But Cincinnati, you guys did absolutely fantastic. Unfortunately, dropping the first map, but you managed to bounce back really strong on Ilios. And then the play you displayed on Route 66, such aggression. I don't even know what to say because the first question I want to ask you, I guess, is who makes all the shot calls for your team? Because it seems like every single time you have the opportunity to go in for a fight, you guys just grab it.
Well, at the moment, so as you've seen before, Biggie Nose used to be our DPS player, but ever since with the transition to the Duke, we needed a shot caller, and Biggie has actually stepped up with the shot calling. So, yeah.
Yeah, having him on that support position definitely has been paying off for you guys. I mean, he even still commits in the team fights other than just healing. We saw a lot of times he was getting some frags for himself. But if we're going to talk about frags, we got to talk about Undead Donut. So on Kings Row, it looked a little tough, right? It was a toss-up. It came down to the wire. You guys got the victory in overtime. But who made the call to just let Undead Donut go, unleash him?
I think that was like a team-based thing. I think at the desperate times, we believe. Andy just goes in, dude. I don't know. He just goes in. There's no controlling him.
I like how so many players, they try to find like the, like politically correct, like polished answer. Oh, we all decided as a team. It's like, no, you know what, dude just likes to go in. And I feel like that's when a lot of players tend to succeed. You just let the angels fly. Don't cage the eagle. Just let it go.
Yeah, I think you just have to have the faith in the Genji. I mean, I believe that's how like most teams actually run when they have a pro Genji player.
Yeah.
You know?
It's like,
just let him do his thing.
Just do your thing, dude. Whatever. But going into the regional playoffs and the like, do you think that you're going to have to rein in Undead Donut a little bit? Do you think the strategy will continue to work as you get deeper and deeper into the tournament? Do you guys have pocket picks available? Like, what's your thought process going into the rest of the TESPA Collegiate Series?
Well, at the moment, we have a few pocket picks, but I don't know. We'll see in the future. I'm not going to tell them right now, but I don't know. I feel confident in our players in the future. We're pretty confident in ourselves as well, so we'll see.
Okay, one final question for me, myself. So, Unlimited Blade Works, Zero or Knight?
I guess Unlimited Blade Works, of course.
There we go. Yep. So that is Gary Saber-Lee. Do you have any final words for your fans, friends, and your campus out there?
Shout out to all the people who are watching UC. Shout out to our coach. I won't name him at the moment, but, he knows who he is.
You know who you are.
Oh, right on. Thank you so much, Saber. Have a fantastic night. Congratulations on your victory.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the best shout out I have ever heard. Yo, shout out to everybody watching. Shout out to our coach. I'm not going to name him, but you know who you are. That's pretty cool, I guess. It's just left me really confused.
Yeah, but their coach definitely has to be proud. They are
Oh,
now
yeah.
sitting with that 5-0 record, taking a really great series up against Iowa.
It was. I'm still laughing about the answer of, oh, we just let Andy go. Andy just goes in, man. And the fact that they let them do that, I think really speaks to the confidence they have in each other and the willingness they are to just get carried by. It's not necessarily getting carried, but at the same time, you know, we sometimes have that pride in ourselves as
Yeah.
players where we want to be able to pop up in the kill feed. We want to make sure we get the gold elims. But at the end of the day, if you have somebody on your team who could just go off on Genji or any hero like that consistently, like, yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, your goal is to win, so you can get that lion's share of the $100,000 scholarship prize pool. So if the best way to do it is just let the Genji go off, do Genji things, like, dude, I'm all for it. Just do everything.
Yeah, and what a great way to end week 5. I mean, this week has shown us that we have 7 teams currently now after all these matches that took place this week. If we go ahead and take a look at that. Yeah, yesterday we saw in the southern and the western region, ECU, Texas, they were that's Austin, were able to secure their 5-0 record, and then the West, Cal Poly Pomona along with UC Irvine, and then today we just saw VCU and Rutgers coming out from the East with that 2-0 record, and then from the North, 2 teams vying for that title of King of the North, Toronto and Cincinnati, walking away with that 5-0 record, moving into the regional playoffs.
And it's a fantastic night of Overwatch to watch because we saw so many interesting strategies being pulled out, insane comebacks, pocket picks that we didn't even anticipate. So
Symmetra.
We saw Symmetra tonight. Let history know that
A lot of Junkrat, too.
Yeah, we saw like 3 or 4 Junkrats tonight, which is incredible. Like, they didn't buff him recently, right?
No. Other than the ulti that happened maybe
That was
like 3 weeks ago.
though.
Yeah.
Yeah, just it seems like this region just really likes playing Junkrat and interesting picks. But as we get deeper and deeper into the tournament, of course, this is the end of the actual group stage itself. We're getting into the regional playoffs next week. I'm sure there's a lot more strategies that we haven't seen yet that these teams are going to pull out at that stage.
Yeah, so next, this weekend is actually when the teams will be playing their regional playoffs matches. But when we return next week on Wednesday, our scheduled time, that's when we're going into the regional finals. The top, I believe, 4 teams from each region will be playing off on the stream once again.
And it's there's a lot of collegiate action coming up. I believe Hearthstone is starting off next week as well, early on in the week, right?
Yes. Monday and Tuesday every week.
Right on.
But yeah, that's going to do it for us. Huge shout out to our sponsors, Gunner, SteelSeries, and Twitch for making all of this possible. And of course, we want to thank you guys for watching. Be sure to tune in on Monday on this channel at Team Tespa for more collegiate over esports action. It's going to be Hearthstone starting at 5 p.m. Pacific time on Monday and Tuesday. And we will be back ourselves on Wednesday and Thursday at the exact same time, 5 p.m. Pacific. So once again, thank you all and have a great night.